And then I thought the best way to do it is that people that do have questions, if they can just pop their hands up. So, but before we do that, I think it'd be really great if we can get Julie and Jamie to just do a little bit of an introduction as to just their journey, and then we can maybe start to kick off with the questions that people may have. So, Jamie and Julie, I'll leave the floor to you.
Julie, you want to go first?
Up to you.
Yeah, go first.
So thanks for organizing this. There's a lot of faces, and some new ones that I haven't quite gotten a chance to meet yet. So I'm excited to meet you. But I'm Julie. I graduated, I have to say, 2020 now. It's crazy how much time has passed, but it's been 3 years, so time flies. I am an empath, and I coach coaches as well. So I really enjoy working with that dynamic and going deeper into the inner work. I'm in California right now, living in California for quite some time. And yeah, I'm just excited to be here. I've been very involved in the J Shetty School. I run the Navigating as Alumni every other week on Wednesdays, and big fan of the community and staying connected, and gotten the chance to actually meet some people in person, and that has been awesome. So I'm really glad to see other groups connecting offline, doing their own thing and practicing. And so, yeah, I'm just happy to be here. I've spent all my time and energy and passion and tears and sweat into coaching in the last 3 years. So it's definitely where I'm meant to be, and I've really committed to that, but it's been a journey to do so.
Thank you, Julie.
I'm Jamie Lepow. I live in New York City. I graduated J Shetty in November of last year. I've been completely immersed in coaching since then. I do have a day job. I work for the largest school system in the country, and I've been coaching in the school system quite a bit. So I've been running workshops, and I have had up to 800 people in my workshops. And I've been coaching in groups because it's just too much to manage. And I've been coaching some individual too. But I've been doing a lot of group coaching just to, it's impossible to manage all the individuals who want it. So, so that's what I've been doing. And hopefully my day job will end sooner than later. I hope to fire them and coach full time. That is my goal. I also have a goal of working for the J Shetty School in some capacity, and we'll see if that comes to fruition.
Wow, Jamie, I don't know even where to start. We definitely love a session on group coaching. We definitely like something like that in our UK group. That's something that we're all interested in. But thank you, both of you. Really, I want to say thank you on behalf of the UK group and our overseas joiners who have come on the session as well. And thank you for being interested in this. So yeah, so I think what would be best is if people want to pop their hands up when they have a question, that would be great. If you could do that, then we can start kicking off with all of the things that people want to ask you about. So please feel free to put your hands up.
Yeah, before we start with questions, I want to say I wish I had me 8 months ago, because the journey of learning the accreditation was a bit challenging. So I'm really happy to be here, as I'm sure Julie is also, to help you and make it a little bit easier.
Oh, thank you, Jamie. If you don't mind, let me just drop a question quickly, because we have someone who's not able to attend. Yep, they're not here. So let me just ask the question. So Katerina is asking, what format do we need to keep a track of our sessions? And what exactly do we need to submit to the AC, i.e. names, initials, dates, times? Do we need to record on Zoom? So that's her question. Jamie and Julie, would you know the answer to that?
Yeah. You want me to take this one, Julie?
Sure.
All right, so it would be good if I could share my screen. I'm going to show you
Absolutely.
what I did to make this process a little bit easier.
Just 1 second, Jamie. Let me make you. I'm going to pop you on host.
Okay,
You may need to submit people if they do start coming back in.
that's okay. All right, so let me share my screen. So in answer, can you see my log sheet?
Mhm.
Yes.
You can? Okay. So this is the log sheet provided by this J. Shetty School. And here's a tip. Now, I can only tell you that I submitted my application August 1st. So anything that's changed after, I wouldn't know. And several of my colleagues in my cohort submitted their application before me, and they still have not heard back. So we were talking about the things we did differently on our application. Just going to show you what I did. I'm frozen. Can you all hear me?
Yeah. Definitely hear
looks-
you.
It's frozen. Okay. But you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is bad. I'm having an internet issue. Hang on 1 second. We're having a terrible, terrible weather, and I think it's impacting the internet. All right, I'm just going to talk. You can see my screen, the log sheet, correct?
We can.
Okay, so if you look on the first column, the dates. So instead of listing it row by row, you have to keep a log of everyone that you're coaching, and this does not include discovery calls. So I saw the first person, ZK. She had 1 session. So I just indicated December 2022 to December 2022. And if you go across the line, you'll see under coaching, it says 1. And then under private, it says 1. If you do,
We can't hear you.
I think Jamie, you might have dropped out.
Yes.
I think Jamie's dropped out.
So I can fill in using this screen.
Yeah, please. That'd be great.
So you do need to now show in more detail the hours completed during the J. Shetty certification. So that line above where it says 20 hours, you will go into that line and add a little bit more detail. So actually put the initials of the clients that you have. And then from there, like Jamie was explaining, you have to put when you started with the client and when you ended with the client. And if they're still client, you can put ongoing or you can put current. So you will only have 1 line per client. And let's say you had 12 sessions with them and they were each an hour, then you put 12 hours. If you had some sessions an hour and a half, some sessions an hour, you can count that. Every time you spend coaching counts as hours coaching. So sometimes I'm known to have longer than an hour session. So if I have an hour and a half sessions, it'll be 12 and a half, or you just keep adding on to your log. What I do personally is because I get lost in remembering when I updated this list, and then when you're going to want to apply for the next level, you're going to want to make it a little bit more clear. What I do is I have 2 logs. I have one where it's for me and it just says date, session, amount of time spent, date, session, amount of time spent. And then I gather all the sessions per client onto this log, which is the log you'll submit. That way I always have a reference to go back to and remember when I met with certain clients, how many times, versus that one has a lot less information. It just has the total amount of time spent, when was the start date and when was the end date. So you, if you're applying for the first level, you need 75 hours of coaching. And if you're applying for the second level, which is the one I recently did, you need 250 hours of coaching. When you look at the column, there's a column for one-on-one and there's a column for group coaching. So depending on the type of coaching you're doing, you will put it under. There was one question that I got from an alumni who asked me, like, if I do group coaching and there's 5 people, does it count as 5 hours? No, it still counts as 1 hour. You just put it in the group coaching column. And at the end, at the bottom, if you will have looked, there's an addition for how many were one-on-ones, how many were groups, and it totals up the hours for you. Hey, Jamie, we
I'm so
just
sorry.
continued.
I'm so sorry.
No worries.
We're having a storm here and it's impacting the internet.
Does anyone have any questions? Jamie, do you want to pop up the screen again so people can see
Yeah.
Jamie, let me just put you as. There you go.
All right, let me try one more time.
Should we take questions while Jamie's sharing?
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, forgive me. I don't know where you left off, Julie. So
I think we can take questions, Jamie, and see if anything comes up, because I just gave a brief overview.
perfect.
Claudia?
Yeah, hi ladies, so good to see you all. In this log at the top it says the hours completed during J Shetty, but it's not. Does it include the ZK, the people that come underneath? Is that part of the 20 hours that are included in the J Shetty certification, or are those separated?
Those are after graduation. So I graduated in November and all of these are December and past.
So they don't care who the clients are in those 20 hours during the J Shetty certification?
Correct.
They do
Perfect.
care. They do care.
Well, they care, but you don't have to log it.
And can you remove the whole hours completed during J Shetty certification and just log all your clients? Will that be better?
My supervisor asked me to do that and remove that and put the actual clients. And I had done more than 20 hours in the J Shetty. So you put all the hours you've done.
Yes, in my log, I removed that and I put all my clients because, yes, to kind of, yeah. But I had another question. Sorry, I'll be fast and furious. Julie, you did the 250 hours. Does that have a deadline? Is it within a time frame, the 250 hours, or is it from the moment you started coaching?
From the moment you started coaching. Include your J Shetty hours too.
Okay, great. And what's the percentage? Also 25% need to be paid?
I think it's at least half.
Half. Okay.
Is that current?
And it actually might be a little more than half. But here's something to think about. If you did an exchange, like if you coached a coach and they coached you, you're going to consider that paid. If
yes.
They gave you $2, you're going to consider that as paid. So I think if you go by that basis, you'll realize you have a lot more paid sessions than you think. But I'll have to get back to you on the percentage of how much is paid. I think it's 25% can be not paid, actually.
Perfect.
Probably it's more the other way around.
And that's great. And the CPD, I know that for the next level, it's they look for the hours for CPD. Do you know how many hours and what counts for CPD?
You're going to have to track your CPD based on the last 6 months, last year, and then before that. So like each category. Let me see if I can find the hour requirements. I should have it somewhere. But knowing J Shetty, you guys have plenty of hours between all the CPD study you do and everything you've experienced. Sorry, Jamie, did you want to say something?
All the webinars from J Shetty count as CPD?
Yes.
this is the actual log that I submitted for certificate for accreditation. I left the first line that just said hours completed during J Shetty 20. I did not include line by line. So I can only tell you what I did. And it was approved.
Great, thank you. Supervision, I'm assuming that you always need at least 3 months prior to your application, and the ratio of what they, according to the level, is that correct?
Is the ratio for the first 2 levels is 1 to 15. And so keep in mind that if your supervision session is an hour and a half, then make it count an hour and a half to the 15 ratio. Yeah.
Thank you. I'll give the opportunity of somebody else to speak.
Yeah, no worries. And yeah, Jamie was saying that you can, she was able to submit it with the 20 hours pre J Shetty. So I think if they don't say anything, you can say that. I applied for the level 2 and they wanted more details. And also some of the clients that I worked with, I continued working with after J Shetty. So it kind of made it messy to say, to break it apart. So I just made them their own lines.
That is exactly what happened to me. I couldn't break out 20 hours and then it's too messy. So I just went with client by line by line. So thanks for the clarification.
So back to your question about training hours, you need, for the foundation, you need 35 training hours, which you have plenty of through the J Shetty. And then the coach level will be 40 plus hours. The foundation level is 3 months of supervision and the coach level is minimum 6 months of supervision. And I have this chart that I can drop in the chat
Yes, please, Julie.
that my own supervisor gave me. Super helpful.
We carry on with the questions. Lalita, would you like to ask a question?
Yes. Can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah.
Yes. So I have a question. For when we submit a log to the JSCS program, they only accept one discovery session or something like that. But when we take 4 or 5 clients and we do discovery calls with each client, do they count towards accreditation? Can we submit those? No, it's the same rule that they don't accept, they don't consider discovery calls as coaching.
You want to go first?
Viraj advised us that discovery calls do not count.
Okay.
So I did not include those in my coaching session log.
Okay. Thank you.
So in my case, I don't have discovery calls. The first discovery call is a coaching call. I don't believe in like not having a coaching call. So in that case, I consider my discovery calls in the coaching because it's actual coaching. I'm not just talking to them or explaining them what coaching is. They are experiencing coaching. And then there's like 5-10 minutes at the end where it's knowing if we're going to continue working together. So I guess it just depends on how you are conducting the session. Are you just talking about life coaching or are you coaching them? So if you're coaching them, then it makes sense that you track it.
Okay. Thank you.
Lalita, I think you have a question in the chat as well.
Schoolji, that's right. So I thought I was reading somewhere that you need to have 25 hours of paid session to apply for the initial accreditation. So I was confused. Was it a percentage or hours? You go by hours or percentage?
It's hours.
It's hours. Okay. Thanks.
Ati?
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Kuljeet, for adding me at the last minute. And I just want to share just in one line. I just finished my last day of Launchpad today. So yeah, happy to be here and learn, because this is a continuous development. Coaching should not stop. We have to learn as a coaches. So I have two questions. One is, do we need recorded sessions with the clients?
At the time I submitted my accreditation, my application, you did not need recorded sessions.
Okay. And
So again, it depends what level you're applying for.
this is my first level.
Then no.
And for
So
second level,
Yes.
for the second level, yes. In that regard,
Mhm.
we have to continue to keep the recordings.
So you just have to submit technically one, but I tend to want to have more of a selection to choose from that I want to submit. So then it's up to you which sessions you want to record or not, but you will have to submit one session that's recorded.
Just one session,
So-
and it's your own discretion.
Yes, you choose the session you want to submit. That's the session that you will write your case study on, that you will kind of dissect and talk about. So you get to choose that. So it's kind of nice that if you know there's your dream client that you like working with, then I would start recording all of your sessions with this VIP dream client, because most likely that's the sessions you're going to use in your application. So why not? But if you're applying for the first level, you don't need any recordings.
Okay. Okay, so all the sessions of that client needed to be submitted?
Just one session.
Just one session of that dream client. Okay. My second
Yeah.
question is, do we need to fill up the reflections form?
No.
No reflections form. Okay. Thank you so much.
I just shared in the chat more application requirements that are, again, categorized by levels. So you can see that the professional coach approach, you need 500 to 1,000 words. The coaching case study, you need 500 to 1,000 words. You need one client reference, whereas level 2, you need 2 client references. And then you see how for the coach level, it says audio recording and transcript and critical reflection. You'll only need that at the coach level. For the foundation level, it's just a reflective statement.
Okay.
And if you are getting close to the 250 hours, there's nothing stopping you from skipping foundation and going straight to the second one. In case that's what you're wanting.
Thanks, Julie. Jamie, sorry, Lalita, you have some. Okay.
Sorry, I meant to say thank you to you all. I was in a rush to go to a doctor's appointment. I didn't even say thank you properly. Sorry about that.
No need.
I'm
Claudia?
going again. Here we go.
Go.
Second round. Okay. Quick question. Let's say we go with the foundation. Do you need to wait 3 years, or if you're close to the coach, you can then do the next application?
You can upgrade anytime.
Okay. That makes sense. Thanks.
You just want to think about, like, as far as money pricing, because when you renew, you'll have to pay something. So you just figure out, like, financially what's worth, how much they charge for renewing versus ending. Also, a thing that a lot of alumni wish they knew is that through the J Shetty School, you get 1 year for free as an AC. But there's also an option to do the 3 years. But the only thing is that you have to pay for that one because it's not included through the J Shetty. And I feel like they're not very clear about that. But if you're wanting to look at long term, it might be more worth it for you to pay for the 3-year membership. And it's just like you just add, I don't know how much money to get it for 3 years. Or if you're closer to 250 hours, then maybe you can do the free 1 year with the JSCS, and when the year is up and it's time to renew, then that's the time you renew for the 250 hour, the coach certification. So yeah, so the JSCS comes with 1 year, but normally if you had paid, it would be 3 years. So that's something to consider that I know a lot of alumni get kind of disappointed about.
Okay.
Just a question for me. I'm not sure if this has already been answered. Let's say I'm a client. How do I know a coach is on an AC foundation level or a master level without them telling me? And does it really matter?
Can you say that again? You're saying how does a client know what level you are?
Exactly. And does it really matter if I'm on the foundation, if I'm on that level or past that level, or if I'm a master, for example?
You want to jump in, Jamie?
I wouldn't know the answer to that question.
So it doesn't really matter. That's what I'm just trying to think is, does it really matter if I just pass the foundation and not the master?
It will be, so there's a directory and you can look up any coach in the directory, and it will tell you what accreditation they have. So people can look you up easily if they choose to. And it says the level that you have there. So if you say you're accredited and someone looks, they will notice if it's foundation, coach, or master or professional. So they will notice. So I guess it's really up to you, you know, how much you care or how much you want to have the accreditation. But you can look it up. People can actually verify, and there's a whole directory that shows you which coach is qualified under what.
And I would be AC accredited if I was foundation level.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So if you look at their little logo, the A logo, they send it to you when you get accredited. So if you're first level, there's 1 star. If you're the second level, there's 2 stars, 3 and 4. And so that's something that, you know, if you have a website, you can take that symbol and show that. Though I wish they made more of a distinction between the tiny 1 star and tiny 2 star, because it's a lot more work. But you'll notice it. Like, people who know will notice it.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Thank you.
My question is just around supervision. So how do we organize supervision? Do we have to do that with the school, or can we get someone else who's an accredited coach to do supervision for us?
Great question. Both. The answer is both. So you need a qualified supervisor in order to apply towards the accreditation. So Mira is accredited and she has availability to supervise there. You can get your own AC accredited supervisor through the AC. There's some there too. And actually, I'm happy to share that I now qualify as a supervisor. So I'm going to be starting to practice supervision. And next year I'll be taking a supervision course to really get accredited. And but in the meantime, I've been coaching a lot of coaches, so just taking that to the next level of supervision. So really excited about that.
That's fantastic news, actually, Julie. Can I just go back to something you said?
Yeah.
Does it have to be an AC accredited coach that supervises us, or could it be someone else who's maybe ICF or any of the other accredited coaching bodies?
Yeah, let me pull up the requirements. So they have to fit two of the 6 or so requirements that are on here.
Julie, do you want to let you share the screen, shall I?
Yeah, sure. Let me just pull it up and see if, I mean, I could probably read it off.
Okay, perfect.
But so when you do have your supervisor, they'll have to fill out a form for you as well. Well, actually, Jamie, I think you should answer this one for the foundation coach. How does it work for the well, I can give the requirement, but how does it work for the foundation level to do you need a reference form?
You do for your supervision. My supervision was done by Mira, so I did not have to collect the supervision form. I just submitted the application to the J. Shetty School, and on their end, they did whatever they needed to do. There is a supervision form if you have a supervisor outside of the J. Shetty School. So if you had, let's say, somebody at the Association of Coaching supervise you, then they would need to complete that form.
Yeah, so which is what I had. So if you're through the supervision from the J. Shetty, then I think they do something on the back end. But if you have an external supervisor, then you need the supervision reference form. And I can share it with you my screen now. I found the document.
And Julie, for your coach level, it's also the same form?
Yes, same form. I think I have to be co-host or host to share.
Coach, yeah, if you remove me as host.
Jamie. Oh, how do I remove you as host? How would I do that?
It's the three dots next to my name.
There we go.
There we go.
Julie.
Okay, so here is my supervision form. So you'll fill this out for your supervisor as much as you can, and then they will figure out what they confirm in. And so you see there is ICF. There's all sorts of things here that they can fill out that they are. Then they'll answer questions about you. Are you continuing training? Are you this? And then here is the qualification. So if your supervisor needs to tick at least 2, this is where I was really happy. And when I talked to my supervisor, she's like, you already ticked 2 of these boxes because you have your coach level. So you're good to go, but you need to be able to tick 2 of these boxes. So my supervisor ticks currently 5 of these boxes. So she has a lot of experience, but so just take a look and make sure that whoever you're working with ticks at least 2 of the following 5 criteria. And then in your supervision form, you'll have to log like how many hours you've had with them. And our sessions are always an hour and a half. So you just log it, and then you put your ratio of I think for this one, you just had to put the last year. So I had just done the last year, and what was my ratio of supervision in the last year. And so when you looked at that, you just look at your last year, how many coaching hours do you have? And does your supervision fit the amount of coaching hours you have in that time frame? So like, I think I marked, this many hours. So that was the ratio. 15 supervision hours to 146 in the last, like, whatever it was when I was applying. So you just kind of break it down and show them. And you will have to take notes, like, this was the session, what competencies did you work on during that session? And then a brief, like, how are you going to apply this? How are you going to apply this? So start tracking your supervision sessions. What are you bringing to the table, and what are you, what competencies are you working on when you're in supervision, and what are you getting out of it? They will ask you for a track, and you will have to fill this out. Your supervisor won't fill this out for you. Your supervisor will just sign at the end, answering questions like, is this person fit to practice, and blah, blah, blah. And that's it. You just go through the whole application.
Julie, can I jump in and ask a question?
Sure.
This one around supervision, is it that you're with the supervisor having a session with them, or is it that they're sitting in on a session where you're coaching somebody and they're just sitting in and observing you? how does the supervision part work? Because I just remember when we were doing group coaching, because I was in cohort 3 and we had group supervision with Yumna and I think Yumna and someone else. Sorry, I can't remember off the top of my head. But do those hours count as supervision as part of the submission, or does it have to be separate?
I don't believe they count. I think that was still part of training, so I don't believe they count. You need to get more after. But that's a great question. So what is supervision?
Yes.
It shows up in different formats and ways. The most common and most affordable is group supervision, where you're in a group of people. And I think some of you have experienced this in the JSCS side, or even if you worked with Mira, where you show up to the session and you say, here's what I'm bringing to the session. I have a client that is experiencing this. How is it affecting me? And you start to dissect not just what's going on with the client, but also what's happening within you as you're coaching them. So that's the most common form of supervision, where you say, I'm struggling with this, or I'm bringing this topic to the table. And then with your supervisor and with the group, if it's a group, you will all discuss it. So that's really what supervision is. It's not necessarily a supervisor sitting in on a session and watching you coach. It's kind of bringing it in. So you can have a mix of group supervision and one-on-one supervision, but obviously it's more affordable to go the group route, because then you get that full hour, but there's more people. And also it's really nice to do group supervision because other coaches that are bringing topics could be very relevant to what you're experiencing. And it's kind of like a brainstorming session where you discuss whatever the topic is. And as coaches, you help each other sort of say, okay, is this really about the client? What's happening with you? And then you start really getting supervised for yourself. Did that answer question?
100%. I mean, I thought it was similar to the group coaching that we had when we were in cohort 3. That just answered it clearly for me, Julie. Thank you so much.
Hey, Kuljit, was it small groups, the ones that you had?
Yeah, we had about 4 or 5 people.
I think those count for the accreditation, but the thing is that you need 3 months prior to submitting you need to have those dates, and that's why most of the time it doesn't work. Yeah, so they probably count towards the ratio, but it doesn't count to submit it. That's the problem I encounter. Yeah, no, I saw that, Claudia, about the fact that it's got to be within 3 months, and our group supervision was in, I can't remember, Mulky, when we did ours in cohort 3, but it's more than 3 months ago now, nearly.
Good question. Yeah. Yeah, that's that thing about it has to be the latest 3 months. But honestly, my opinion is that you can never get enough supervision. Like I kind of am a try hard in that department, but I'm, if you have 1 to 10 or in the beginning, supervision really helps you grow as a coach. So you can't get too much supervision.
I totally agree with that. As soon as I graduated, I signed up for supervision every month. You're dealing with people's lives, and it's important that you're providing the best service that you can. So I signed up for monthly supervision, and I wasn't sure when the application would be ready for submission. So I wanted to make sure I had my 3 months. It's not about the 3 months. It's about becoming a great coach in service of others.
Thank you, Jamie. Ati?
So having said that, Julie, do you give those kind of services because you know the process, you are a supervisor now? Do you give that kind of services so that people I see, they're very interested, and we can form a group where you can guide us and we can have once a month with you? It's just a proposal. I've not talked to anybody, but just in my mind, like how Viraj was, helping us move forward with this whole business launchpad. If you can help us, move forward with this.
Yeah, I would love to. I actually started reaching out to a lot of the coaches that I've been mentoring and forming groups to get together and start supervision. So yeah, if you're interested in forming some small groups and doing supervision, I would love to. I've been doing it, and now it's kind of like official, and I can actually start and help you sign off on the paperwork when you're ready to apply as well. So definitely, if you're interested, reach out.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. It's so much fun, supervision, and talking about clients and what it mirrors and what it reflects back to us is super fun. Like you learn so much, not just as a coach, but as a person who is going through life and also experiencing these things as well.
Yeah. My understanding was supervising means if I'm with my client, the supervisor is watching me how I'm handling the client. But now this is an absolute new thing to me, that it's just, group discussion where I bring something on the table. Like we did a little bit with Yomna, but there were 50 people in the room. So it takes away a lot of, everybody's time, that everybody has to say something. So what minimum number of coaches with the supervisor is okay, is the right thing to do?
I think six is good. And generally you're either doing I think you only can do at least 1 hour and a half. It can't be an hour, that's too quick. So I am gonna be running 1 hour and a half sessions, or maybe even 2-hour sessions. But I think the number is 6. As soon as there's more, then you're just rushing everything. That my supervisor in the AC were 6 of us.
Right. So I'm going to try, reaching out to people, because I know things changed after May. The people who finished their graduation before May was like, some things were different. So it will make more sense for me to join more from cohort 4, because I'm finishing from cohort 4. But I'll try if I can find out 6 people who are same, wanting to do the same thing together. I'll DM you.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We can actually probably do the same from the UK side as well. Julie, if you don't mind, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I would love to. And then I talked to my supervisor a lot about this, and she's like, you're ready, and then next year you're going to take the supervision course. And she was just, reassuring me. She's like, and it's great, because if there's something that you want to know more information about, then you bring your supervision to supervision. And that's why I think it's like the whole, right? You just keep growing as a coach, and whatever you bring to the next person. And so I'm really excited. I have been coaching coaches for a while now and mentoring. And so it's just taking that to the next level and helping do the inner work with the coaches while they're also learning to be good coaches. So I'm excited to launch this. I just recently was approved for the Association for Coaching coach certification. And it's that qualifies me to do supervision, and then the fact that I've been coaching for 3 years.
Can I just follow up on that? Question just popped in my head. So what level do you need to be a supervisor? i.e., could you be a AC Foundation level to be a supervisor?
No, you can't.
Okay.
So if you look at you need two of the 3 things here, and coach or executive coach qualifies me, and the 3 years qualifies me, but foundation coach is not a qualification for it, or supervisor or something else. But yeah, foundation coach, no. And yeah, so which kind of makes sense. You want to have someone who has a little bit more experience.
Yep, perfect. Thank you.
But if you're interested in supervision, then definitely keep on the path, and maybe that's your motivation to apply for that coach level, because it gets you closer to doing that. Any other questions? I know it's a lot, but if you have any follow-up questions at any point too, you're welcome. I'm sure Jamie too, to reach out to us and ask more questions if it comes up. But I think it seems more intimidating than once you go through the process.
Malavi?
Yeah, hi. This is not a follow-up question. It's completely random that I'm still debating. We graduated from Core 2, and ever since I've been thinking ICF or AC. So what made you guys decide that AC accreditation is better than the ICF, or we should go for this one and not the other? I know it can be personal, but yeah, I just need to know your opinion.
That's a good question, because in my cohort, we asked Viraj to talk about that. Like, what's the difference between the two? And the feeling was that they're both great. One is not better than the other. They're just two different organizing bodies. And I just went along with the Association of Coaching because I trust the folks at the J. Shetty School. And there would be no reason for me not to continue along that journey. It's probably just a personal choice.
Yeah,
Would you agree?
that's it'll be very personal. So I just needed an opinion, because whatever you read on the internet and then you meet someone who's actually walked that path is different. So thank you, Jamie, for answering that. Julie, sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's okay. But I was gonna say, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to see it, but you don't really have that option. Like, the qualification of the J. Shetty program does not qualify for ICF. So even if you decided, I don't want to go for the AC, I want to do ICF, you would need more things. So if you apply for AC, it's easy. Like, now you have the credentials, you have the path there associated, you can go straight. But if you wanted to do ICF, then you have to go through a different type of training. The biggest difference is ICF is more like grow model, like, okay, here's the action plan, here's what we're gonna do, versus J. Shetty is more holistic and like 360, looking at the thing, and certain things that we do in the J. Shetty or in the AC side would not be the same approach as the ICF. So they're kind of totally different approaches. They're still both accreditations, but they're different approaches. That's a good question, because I actually asked, like, okay, now that I have the AC, can I go and apply for the ICF? And it's not that simple, because you'd have to do another sort of type of training that they qualify as ICF. So I think at this point, it makes more sense for you to continue the route and, like Jamie said, trust the J. Shetty approach and this kind of body. And it's an easier step. And then later on, you can decide down the road, is it worth going the effort to then pivot to this different certification?
Thank you. Thank you, both of you. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you're welcome. And it's interesting, because with a lot of the older alumni, we talked about, like, why can't J. Shetty adapt their program so it's an easy funnel to that as well? And the response we've gotten is kind of like they would have to just completely change their curriculum because of how different the approaches are. And then it would lose the essence of this holistic approach, which.
Did you have another question?
Yeah, quick one. Practical purposes, what time zone are you at, Julie?
EST.
EST?
Yeah, California.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Julie, just off the back of what you just said there around the ICF, another question that we had from somebody in our group was they're looking at applying for EMCC accreditation. Is that the same response to the ICF that you mentioned, and it only aligns up with the AC?
I honestly don't know about that one. Yeah, I don't know what the qualifications or criteria are. I think for some of these, there's like more of a conversion where they can communicate to each other. But I know that for ICF and AC, it's not as simple.
Kujit, I think there is more of a communication for EMCC than ICF.
more aligned, Claudia, you mean?
Yes, more aligned paperwork wise and path. I think it's more aligned.
Got you.
Yeah, I have some of the documents for that
Yeah.
process, and it seems like more aligned with AC too.
Yeah. Thanks, Claudia.
But
Yeah.
ICF, to your point, Pallavi, and what Julie just said, it's completely their requirements are a lot. It's actually kind of redoing your certification basically, and taking exam and doing all kinds of the steps are very thorough.
No, thank you. Thanks, Claudia.
I would actually pose a reflective question and ask, what is the importance of going for a different association or a different accreditation? What would it benefit? How would it benefit you? And ultimately, the clients that you attract want you, not the association you're connected to.
I mean, I
So
can
it's
I
just
can
something to
answer.
think about.
It's a really good question, Jamie. I think it depends on where you're coaching, because I know a certain person that the EMCC is the more recognized accreditation body, and it's needed for certain corporate level of coaching. So that's the reason why some of the coaches are really definitely asking for EMCC rather than ICF.
That makes sense.
That it's a fundamental requirement for where they're looking at where they want to coach. I think private coaching is different, but if they're going into the corporate world or some of the NHS programs that we've got here in the UK for our health service, it's specific entry requirements for coaches.
Okay.
That's why I was the question on alignment, so that I can sort of fill you in on that from that point of view.
I think if you think of credentials and coaching, it's still fairly new-ish. I think the AC is more established in the UK. If you look at all the people involved in the AC, they're more in the UK, and there's not as much in the US, though I think that's changing a lot. It's going to come. But definitely if you live in the US, ICF is more ICF. I'm getting confused with IFS and ICF. That's a whole other thing. But yeah, in the US, that one is more recognized. But it's for now. And just remember how new coaching is and how new credentials are. But I think Viraj had told me this one time. If you think about how many coaches are actually accredited, it was something like a ridiculous number, like below 20%. So I think no matter what you think about, just think about those numbers of like how you're representing yourself and how you're standing out, whichever way. But yeah, Jamie, to answer your question, if you look into corporate world, the other one is more common in the US, and that's kind of the little bit of a frustrating part. But also ask yourself the question, like, is that really what's stopping you from launching your private stuff and going? So things to think about.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? I can't see any more hands up. I think Joe, you had some questions that you mentioned in the chat. I don't know if you want to bring them up
yeah,
now.
but I don't know if they're super relevant in the context of this discussion. That's
yeah,
all. I think probably not. But thank you.
No problem. Any other questions, guys? I would, since we've got no questions, Jamie and Julie, honestly, I would like to say a huge thank you to you both for your time and making yourselves available to us. I think we'll be banging on your doors just to help us along the way. It's really appreciated because, as you can tell, the paperwork side of things is quite enormous, and it can be a little bit confusing, certainly on the knowledge library as we're trying to work our way around it. And it was really important that we got some people that have been through the process to help us feel and see it in sort of in live time, really. But thank you so much for helping us out this time around. We're a UK group. We've got about around 70 people now in our group.
Wow.
We meet up every 2 weeks. And And we actually had our first in-person meet last week, which was fantastic. So we really appreciate it. And I just want to say again, thank you. And thank you everyone for attending too. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so
It's
much. Amazing.
it's definitely way more intimidating than it actually is, but I have 100% compassion for everyone because I dreaded the paperwork a lot. And so it's going to be definitely nice to have a helping hand to just kind of support you through it and not dreading it the whole process. But I think once you look back, you realize, okay, it's not too bad. And also, I'm curious, when everyone has graduated, did you already have written your case study? Because I know now there's no more case study. No. Okay.
No, Julie, from cohort 3 onwards, I mean, it changed at cohort 3. So
Got it.
there is some new additional forms where we've got to do the essay and the submissions, but
yeah.
I haven't looked at that yet. I don't know whether we've looked at it at all, time-wise, not yet.
So it's a good process. We had to do that before graduating. I'm surprised they removed that rule, to be honest, but it's a good process to kind of figure out, okay, what's my approach? What's my style? How am I analyzing this case and this client? And so it'll be good to go through the process and learn about yourself in that way as a coach.
Our cohort was the last one to have it, Julie.
Got it. Yeah, that's what I had heard, but I didn't know what was the cutoff.
Yes. And thank you, everyone. And thank you, Kuljit, and all the UK and Julie and Jamie for letting us crash your call with all the questions. Thank you so much.
I think we all crashing from Texas.
Free from Texas.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to log off now.
Thank
Take
you all.
care.
For arranging this,
you.
everybody. Thank you. Take care.
You're welcome.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Yep,
Bye.
good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.